2018 Skate America champions have been named for both the ice dance competition as well as for the ladies. It's the Americans, Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue, winning their first Skate America. They're U.S. champs, they're world medalists, and now they are Skate America champions for the 10th year in a row. It's an American team that tops the ice dance podium. And what about the ladies' podium? Satoko Miyahara, she's a 4-time champion for the Japanese, and now she is a 2-time Skate America champion. Back-to-back, we had back-to-back for Nathan Chen, and Miyahara does it again for the ladies. She's actually the first repeat champion since Yuna Kim did it in 2008 and 2009. Hello everyone, Nick McCarville here, Bridgestone Ice Desk. It's our 12th and final show of the weekend, and it's been so much fun to hang out with all of you live on Facebook and on YouTube. Do not be afraid of that comment button below. We want to hear from you, your questions, your comments. We've got a great panel of folks here with me to close out the weekend. Let's talk everything Skate America, and let's also look ahead to the Grand Prix series that's coming from Skate America, and we're going to go right into Skate Canada next week. Brooke Castile is a 2007 U.S. Pairs champion. Michael Weiss, 3-time champion at the U.S. and a 2-time Olympian. And Sinead Kerr, also a 2-time Olympian, 7-time British ice dance champ. You guys, first off, it's been so much fun hanging out with you this weekend. But Mike, that big win from Satoko Miyahara, she was just stand out this weekend. Those last 3 ladies really threw down in the free skate.
Well, it actually turned out kind of the way we expected. I mean, we knew the Japanese skaters were consistent and they were solid. And Satoko just came out and skated exactly what we had been seeing her do all in practice and, you know, in the short program as well, and just continued it. It looks to me like she might be a little bit taller this year, like maybe even just an inch or so, but she looks longer and her jumps look like they have a little bit more spring to them. And I think I enjoyed her program more this year even than I did last year, and last year was a great championship skate.
I also feel like she has a little bit of a fire lit in her since she was 4th at the Olympics, right off of the podium.
Yeah.
I see something a little bit different. She's always been really known for going overboard in practice and always being really driven, but there's just something a little bit extra about her here.
I wonder if she's skating taller, even if she's not,
Yeah, I mean,
hasn't
she
necessarily
looks
grown.
bigger on the ice, and
Yeah.
maybe it's the fact that she's doing a lot more off-ice training and presentation stuff. And you know, if you have better posture, you're taller. You know, sometimes I slump and went, oh my gosh, Mike grew 2
Shoulders
inches.
back. Well, let's go ahead and look at how she stood above the crowd when we look at the standings for Miyahara, who did come away with the win. It's the second highest season total, that 219, behind Zagitova at Nebelhorn a few weeks ago. Sakamoto, the silver medal, and Samodurova did end up with bronze. They were the last 3 skaters, and they really did all deliver. It was a nice free skate from Brady Tennell. But let's go ahead and look at Miyahara. And Sinead, just the look, everything. She's packaged so well, and every detail she took care of today.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed her program. I thought the composition of the piece was just beautiful, and I thought the finish and attention to detail was just great. I mean, she's always very polished, but I think she seemed especially polished, especially so early on in the season. It wasn't just about the jumps either in this program. Everything was really well planned out. The components, I think, were awesome.
Her combinations to me this year look like on the second triple, they're more spring to them. You know, she's always criticized in past for not being necessarily a high jumper, but a really fast rotator. And this season, I saw a considerable difference in height. See, that second triple toe was higher than the double axel was. And generally it was like she's a fast rotator but not a ton of spring. Now she's launching herself up into the air with more height. And you know, the result is that she's not going to get any downgrades at all or under rotations because she's got more height, more spring, and more rotation.
I agree with you, Mike, about her looking bigger on the ice as well. I always feel like she somehow can have that ability to disappear slightly on the ice, like be a little invisible. I mean, she's always been great, but somehow, I don't know if it was the costume or the program or maybe just the background training with making her grow taller, but she definitely seemed to command more attention out there on the ice than I've seen her do previously.
I feel like her jumps were never very exciting. She was known more for her artistry and her composition of her programs, and I feel like with what you're saying with the height and the excitement, that extra little bit at the end to make those jumps really clean, which is something we've been talking about, makes her skating a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. She wins her 3rd Grand Prix medal, does Miyahara, and it's a big win for her at 20 years young. She just missed the podium, as Brooke mentioned, at the Olympics. She was a world medalist, a 2-time world medalist, but really staking her claim. We'll talk about the Grand Prix final and maybe implications there, but let's go ahead and take a look at at Kaori Sakamoto. Sakamoto. And what she did today, this was actually, a really tough position for her to be in, coming in and trying to chase down the leaderboard. But Mike, she delivered a beautiful program and put that pressure on Miyahara because she did skate right before her.
And she did, and she skated well. Like I said, last year is when I just really kind of, I kind of fell in love with her skating. I love her triple combination. She, in contrast, has always had extra spring on her legs. And that triple Lutz, when I saw her do that one, I was like, how that angle, you didn't see it, but she was going sideways. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did she land that? And that just comes from experience. When you do these jumps and you land them in practice, whether they're upside down, inside out, or whatever, you get confident with them. And that was a situation where she's so comfortable with that jump that she landed it despite the lean. But all of her jumps, that second jump there, too.
She has
and the
amazing
third
knees,
jump.
doesn't she?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what reminds us of Midori Ito. She has those amazing knees when she
Nice pop.
it's like that she can save herself on a jump because she can just get into the ice so much.
But watching these two Japanese girls just push each other, I mean, Miyahara, as you said, is the world medalist. She's the favorite, but that's something that Sakamoto is always chasing, and it's going to make her better, and it's also going to make Miyahara better.
I loved this reaction to you guys. It means so much to these skaters. And Brooke, look at that. I mean, she put everything out there today and really delivered. So happy with herself.
I feel like being second here and also delivering 2 clean programs really solidifies where she is in the Japanese standings because she was put on the Olympic team. They only had 2 spots, and she was one of the 2, and she's carrying on this year with the same success she had last year. I think that's really important for her, and I think that's what that smile was about because there is so much competition in Japanese ladies.
Yeah, no, there really is. And Miyahara is a 4-time national champion for Japan. So for Sakamoto, and those girls are only 20 and 18. Sakamoto is still only 18 years old, so she's going to be chasing Miyahara. That could be a fun race to watch for the next 4 years. What about a new face in figure skating in the sense of Samodurova, Sofia Samodurova, 16 years young. This was her Grand Prix debut, and she came out, and Shanae, it felt like she was the last to skate. She was the first to skate in the short program, the last to skate in the second group, and she didn't blink an eye.
Yeah, I was really worried for her actually
I
because
was
it feels
too.
horrible skating after 2 such amazing performances, and actually quite a few good performances tonight. Brady as well, skating great. And I was just wondering what was going to happen, but she owned it. She was so confident. The program was so different from the Japanese that had just been previously as well. So I think that looked fresh. And yeah, she looked like she had nothing to lose out there. And she didn't have anything to lose. She has no pressure on her here at all. But that gave her a nice lightness to her skating, and she was entertaining for the audience, and the jumps were also awesome. So a really nicely packaged skater.
Well, I think she clearly had the most energy of anybody in the ladies' event. I mean,
Little
this
fist pump
program
there.
was start to finish. It didn't slow down. Like, sometimes when you skate to ballads or slower pieces of music, you have time to rest. There was no break. She was finger pointing at everybody. She was. I mean,
She really
She
was.
was singing along to the music.
Like she was in an exhibition.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. And I was saying, she almost looks like, she reminds me of like a skater that would be like out of L.A., Like she looks like an L.A. girl out there and representing Russia, but she was awesome.
I find a
Great
lot of
skate for
times,
her.
too, when these younger Russian girls skate to music like this, they tend to just do a couple arm movements, pretend that they know the music, and there's not much there. And I feel like she was the complete opposite. It seemed like she probably picked her own music, she loved it, and she owned every second
She
of the
actually
program.
danced out there,
Yeah.
Yeah, she really
And
did
she
it.
was so excited with her result and with her finish. It was really great to see.
And that's a really tough position, 16 years young, to skate last in the free skate after she had to open the short program last night. I mean, that's putting a lot of pressure on someone like her that doesn't have that much experience.
And you saw that at the end. I mean, it meant so much to her. Anytime I see skaters just get completely emotional at the end and you see how important it was to her, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the weekend that Brady Tennell necessarily wanted, the American ending up in 4th place, but she had a great free skate today, and it came off the back of that triple single that she had in the short program. But this is a program, Brooke, that she's really worked on trying to speak with her artistry more, but technically she was really sound today as well.
Yeah, she has added a lot to her choreography and her composition.
You like this program, right?
I really like it. I love the music choice for her.
This-
I know.
This triple loop. This is the under rotations are what cost her the bronze medal here.
And
Just
called
throwing
on- was
in
she
there.
called
Sorry
under
to
there?
interrupt.
No,
She was called
go
there.
for it. Go for it. No.
She was called there, and then she was called again on her triple Lutz, triple toe for under rotations. I could see the loop on that. That I could definitely
Yep.
see. But losing, it's hard to really accurately say exactly how many points she lost because you don't know what the GOE would have been if she'd not been under. But about 6 points you lose on there.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the
Yeah,
bronze
she was 6
and
points
fourth.
off the podium.
Well, and she's spending a
This-
lot. Oh God.
I keep interrupting you.
He's
Triple
on a
Lutz,
roll,
triple toe.
baby.
Okay.
Both of those were called under. The Lutz and the toe were called under. And the camera that they're looking at is completely at the opposite end of the rink against the same wall that she jumped at. It's just so hard to
That
see.
looked harder to see
Yeah.
than the other jump. Yeah.
Brooke, as you were
Anyway,
saying.
go ahead, keep talking.
Well, she added.
So anyway, so she.
There we go.
Just kidding, I'm good.
No,
No,
you're
she-
good. You're good.
Yeah, go ahead.
She added a lot to her programs this year, and that takes a lot more energy and a lot more training time to now bring it all together technically and with the PCS. And I think that that's going to take a little bit more time throughout the season to develop. And I think that we'll see when she has more energy, is trained and is used to spending more energy on this choreography, the jumps will start to get a little bit cleaner and a little bit easier for her.
I really liked that emotion from Brady at the end. We don't see that much from her. She's so steel-faced, but she really let us in, let us know that she's working hard. And now for her, she's going to have to work hard, Shanae, because she's got a chance to get to the Grand Prix final, but she's going to have to work for it at NHK. She goes up against Medvedeva in a few weeks. Pat asking about it on Facebook. I know it's early to talk about the Grand Prix final, but we are setting up now because these skaters only have 2 events. She's got some work to do, and she's got a little bit of time, right, to go back home and to work on especially that triple-triple combination.
Yeah, well, she should in no means feel disillusioned after this competition because she did have a good, strong free program, and it was well received. And as Mike said, it was just a couple of the jumps with the under rotations, and I feel like that's something that she can take home and work with her coaches, hopefully improve for the next one. But she should definitely not feel disheartened. I mean, that was a great performance from her, and I think it was just a blip. I think she'll come back a lot cleaner in the next one.
It was a great weekend for Megan Wessenberg, who was making her debut on the Grand Prix, just 20 years old, the American, and had a really great short program. And then also today delivered, I thought, in the free skate as well. Under pressure, you could feel, you could see the nerves. But for her, for a skater we're not necessarily that familiar with, that was a really, really great weekend here in Everett.
No, I think it can be intimidating coming into a situation like this, where this really is the premier event, other than the national championships and world championships, for an American skater to participate in. And sometimes it can be very intimidating competing against Miyahara and Sakamoto and all these people that that you've idolized and looked up to. And she came in and held her own, skated 2 solid programs. She should be proud of it.
Yeah, she certainly should. Disappointment for Star Andrews this weekend, but she goes right to Skate Canada. Let's go ahead and actually check out that Grand Prix schedule for the rest of the series, because we go from Skate America, there we are, we go into Skate Canada, and then of course the Grand Prix event in Finland. That's replacing the event usually in China. I mentioned NHK where Brady Tennell will be, Rastelecom where we'll see Gracie Gold for the first time in a couple years, and then we're ending in France, and that's actually where we'll see Nathan Chen, not again until late November. He's using those breaks in school, so that's it's interesting when you look at skaters like Maddie and Zach and the dance, they're going right from Skate America to Skate Canada, or someone like Nathan Chen, who has, 5 weeks from now until Grand Prix France. He's obviously going to be busy, but what's the preference there? I mean, does it matter if you have a big break or a little break?
Well, relatively early on what your Grand Prix assignments are, so I think you kind of cater your training around that. So if you have back-to-back competitions, that's what you're preparing for, and if you have a big break, then you have chances to make improvements and adjustments, so you maybe don't have to be as prepared because you have that time. So I think you just kind of make adjustments based off what a couple of months ago.
This ladies event really sets us up for a great season. Next weekend is when Evgenia Medvedeva will make her Grand Prix Series debut this season. And it's really a stacked field as far as this sets up Miyahara and Sakamoto so well, and also, puts Brady Tennell in a position where she's got to do a little bit of chasing. But just overall for the ladies this season, there's a lot of excitement because in the other disciplines, it feels like a lot has shifted, has changed. Caitlin Osmond's taking the season off, the reigning world champion. But otherwise, we've got the big major players in ladies. Yep, we certainly do. Okay, what about just in general, if we can go ahead and look at our champions from Skate America this weekend, and just the big takeaways, Brooke, maybe we can start with pairs and the fact that Tarasova and Morozov walk away. Just in general for Grand Prix Series, next weekend we'll see Vanessa James and Morgan Cypre at Skate Canada, but you can see there the champions from this weekend. We've got a lot to look forward to in pairs. It's a changing
Yeah,
tide
I
in
think
pairs
it's
overall.
what will be exciting in pairs this year is to see who can kind of take advantage of some of these older teams being gone and who can make their way in and set kind of the tone for the next 4 years.
What about in the men's event? I mean, Nathan Chen obviously threw down, but where do we go with the men now? Next weekend, we will have Shoma Uno and Jason Brown at Skate Canada.
And that will be a good comparison. Shoma Uno is somebody who's been challenging Nathan Chen, at every World Championships, and Nathan did his job here. I think my most enjoyable thing is watching him now develop from an up-and-comer with a lot of expectations to now a seasoned veteran, and he showed that this weekend, and now he's balancing everything he's doing with going to school and still winning championships and still improving the way that he's skating, not just doing quadruple jumps, but improving the way that he's skating and performing. It's impressive.
Ice dance next weekend. Gillis and Poirier will be there, probably trying to challenge the Skate America champions, Hubble and Donahue.
Yeah, and I actually really like Gillis and Poirier. I've liked them for the last couple of years, and I think they're a big audience favorite, but I've seen their material from this year. I think it's different. I think they try new things. I think it's extremely difficult as well. It's a very difficult program, which will be interesting because I felt like Hubble and Donahue, as well as it looked beautiful tonight, it was a little less complex. I feel like Gillis and Poirier have a very complex program, so it'll be interesting to see those two head up against each other.
I am seeing that John Coughlin, former U.S. Pairs champion and Ice Desk member, has tuned in. Johnny, we want to hear your questions, so I'm just going to sit here and wait and watch our Facebook comment section for John Coughlin at some point to weigh in. A lot that we can take away here from Skate America. If you were to pick one moment of the weekend and say that was the moment, I'm happy to start. I think for me, I'm going to go low-hanging fruit here, and Nathan Chen I actually want to pick that triple-triple in the short program because to me it was an indicator of the different sort of skater and the different sort of thinker that we have this weekend. He showed us his artistry. He showed us how hardworking he is off the ice. But I think we've got a new version, maybe even a better version of Nathan Chen this season. I thought that was really exciting.
Oh, I'm going to kind of tag on to you there and say Nathan Chen, but I'll say instead of for his jumps, his choreography of his short program. I thought that was fantastic. I thought musically it fitted perfectly to his new style, this new free wild style that he has. And I'm really excited to see it again later on in the season.
I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go Nathan Chen for his hair.
For his hair.
I mean, we've all said everything about
There's a
Nathan.
theme.
He's great.
Yeah,
He's
no,
wonderful.
fair enough.
There's nothing left to say. What are you going to say?
I was gonna.
Nathan Chen?
The one time
All
you
right.
don't pick me to say something first.
Come on, let's go. I'm ready.
No, I was gonna say anytime I feel like I get to see Nathan Chen live, I'm really lucky because he's incredible and figure skating history, and it's incredible to see him improve every year, and every time you see him on the ice, he's better, and it's just he's great. I mean, what can we say? If he's at a competition, that's going to be everyone's favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys had a great time. Bridgestone Ice Desk team. #WhatDo.
What do?
We had a very, very good
What
weekend.
did?
It's a big thanks also to our production team. Tara Wellman is our producer. Tom Worley and Tim O'Laughlin, they're a part of the production crew just over there. They're making sure that you guys can see all of us. A big thanks to Julie Lightoff, who's our production coordinator, Rob Dustin. And I hope all of you enjoyed tuning in. We love seeing your questions come through on Facebook and on YouTube. You also can check us out at the U.S. Championships 2019 in Detroit, January 18th to 27th. Go to 2019 USChampionships.com. That's 2019 USChampionships.com. And we will be right there in Detroit at the Bridgestone Ice Desk with all of you. For now, it is farewell. Thank you guys so much
you, Nick.
for
Thank
being
you,
with
Nick.
us. And you guys, we will see you U.S. Championships. We can't wait. For now, it is farewell from Everett, Washington, and Skate America. Bye-bye.